Audio article by the Common Constitutionalist entitled On the Anniversary of the Pulse Nightclub Massacre. 1 year ago yesterday marked the first anniversary of the Pulse Nightclub shooting in Orlando, where 49 people were slaughtered and another 53 injured. Most, if not all, mainstream websites acknowledge the anniversary. The interesting but predictable thing about virtually all these remembrances was that most did not actually mention the shooting, and only one, the New York Times, even mentioned that the shooter pledged his loyalty to ISIS. The Times was doing a retrospective on one of the victims who survived, recounting the man's injuries, so they had to recap the incident. They did get the closest of any to telling the whole story. Quote, Omar Mateen, motivated by the Islamic State, randomly riddled club-goers with bullets from an assault rifle and a pistol, unquote, wrote the Times. Of course, they had to also mention the guns, particularly the assault rifle. Yet in none of these dozen or so anniversary reports was the word Islam or Muslim ever used. A few used IS or Islamic State in passing, but no more than that. A Washington Post article mentions Omar Mateen once, but never acknowledges his pledge to ISIS or that he was a Muslim. Most articles instead filled up the space with virtue signaling and promotion of the LGBT community. The LGBTQ community. Well, okay, let's try that again. It has now morphed into the LGBTQ plus, with a plus sign, community. Can we please stop with these run-on acronyms? How many more categories can there possibly be? The various articles chronicle the many makeshift memorials filled with pictures, flowers, candles, teddy bears, and of course rainbow flags. Not a single American flag or mention of the USA. It may as well have been in another country. Rather, posters adorn the walls outside the Pulse nightclub that exclaim, "Hugs, not hate." Another said, "We will not be defeated," and "We will not let hate win." Now, I realize that some of the people lost loved ones and are still in pain, but may I ask exactly what hate they are referring to? Are they trying to imply something specific, or is it just more mindless sloganeering? I'd like to say it was the latter, but I'm guessing it is the former. The HuffPo is representative of leftists, of which surely encompasses this community. The Huffington Post chose to honor the memory of the dead by pushing the LGBT agenda and slamming the president, who wasn't even the president last year. Quote, take some time today and consider how you can become an ally for the LGBTQ plus community. Under the looming shadow of Donald Trump, there's never been a more important time to stand in support of the LGBTQ plus rights, pontificates the HuffPo. So excuse me, but on whose watch did this massacre occur, and by whose hand? President Obama was still in charge then, and I use that term very loosely, and they were murdered by a radical Islamist who called himself an Islamic soldier and pledged his allegiance to the Islamic State. And may I also ask, just what are LGBT rights? Are they special rights above and beyond what we heteros get? And if so, where can I get some? The fact is that the only person who violated your rights was a radical Islamist, who, like all Islamists, hates you because you are also not an Islamist, and because you are not heterosexual. If the LGBT community really wants to honor their fallen, rebuild the Pulse nightclub. Make it twice the size, and every anniversary you can host the nation's largest remembrance bash. If you do nothing but erect rainbow memorials, sitting around crying over them, and display meaningless signs, hate did, in fact, win. But remember, it was Islamist hate that killed and terrorized your friends. It wasn't Donald Trump, Republicans, conservatives, or Christians. We may not agree with your lifestyle, but we do not hate you. Thank you for listening.